Hey guys, it's Maymay, and I have been asked to show you how to make the tags that I used in my file folder organizer for Christmas tags. And if you don't know, we're doing a swap of these guys right here. The whole entire kit with 12 tags inside, and if you're interested in participating, there'll be a link below with all the information you need to know. And when I showed you the video the first time of making that, I had these tags already made, but several people have asked me to show how I did it. So I thought that'd be fun today. I'm going to do all three of these for you, and we're going to start with this guy. Now I'm just going to sit him over here to the side. I don't know if he can stay there or not, but we'll leave him there if he can stay there. I may have to have the space. But the first thing I'm going to do is use my stamp set, get my block out, that is called Ugly Sweater Weather. And I don't have it in the packaging, but I think you can see it. It comes with this ugly sweater here. We're going to use that first. So I'm going to just stick that onto the block. That's a very well-loved stamp. I have used it a lot. And I went through my scraps and found some really cool just pieces that I think are going to work. And they'll be different than this one because I kind of want to make it different. So here's a scrap of some snowflake, a scrap of some peppermint stripe, and then this is a black 3x6 piece that's going to be the base of my card. So I'm going to start with this one right here and my stamp. I'm going to ink this up with some tuxedo black ink. I'm just using this because it's my favorite. You can use any old ink, whatever's your favorite. And I'm going to stamp this. Oh, he's not big enough. Wait. Oh, he's going to work just barely. Oh my goodness. I may have to do a little cutting, but he'll work. That almost got me. Because I love that piece. I pulled it out just for this ugly sweater. Now, when you have a big sweater, when you have a big stamp and a big block, do some rocking. Not too much, but make sure it gets on there good because it's big. All right, so we're going to have to cut the little top off, but that's okay. He'll just be a crew neck instead of a turtleneck. So, the next thing we want to do is cut our sweater out. So I'm just going to cut right on the edges. You probably cannot see this. I can barely see it, this black ink on this dark paper, but I can see it enough to do this. So I'm going to cut that turtleneck off because I was a little bit shy on my scrap. But I like to go to my scrap drawer for tags. I think that's a great way to use up paper that maybe you stuck in your scrap drawer from last year. I don't even really open a paper pad. I just go straight to my scrap drawer. So there we go. He just doesn't have a turtleneck. He's just a crew neck. So I forgot this piece. I also had to have a matte piece for my tag base. And I just cut it 1/8 of an inch smaller, so I just have a barely little bit of that black showing around. And I'm going to corner round it. I'm going to use my Crop-A-Dile, my Memory Keepers. What is this? We Are Memory Keepers Corner Chomper. And I'm going to use the 1/2 inch one. And I'm going to go ahead and round all the sides, all the corners. You don't have to round all the corners. You can do whatever feels good to you. But I like to do all of them on these tags. So now we can start assembling. I'm going to move these guys out of the way for a second. And the first thing I'm going to do is put this piece onto my tag itself. Just like that. Now because I'm using a black tag, I'm going to have another mat on the back side. Let me do that real quick. So the same thing. I cut this piece 1/8 of an inch shorter than my tag, and then I rounded the edges. And this is just a solid white piece. This way you'll have a good place to write to the recipient and things like that. So just put that on the back. I also like how thick and rich that putting all these mats on make your tags feel. I think it makes them feel really nice. Very thick and heavy. I like it. Okay, now we can start assembly. Now notice here that I have this piece running behind the sweater. I just picked a piece that I liked and just kind of cut it to the same width and then put it behind the sweater. I just thought that was cute. I'm actually just going to do this with my scissors. Just make a mark and cut a line. You can certainly do this with your paper trimmer and measure, but sometimes it's fun just to play. So I'm going to put that piece down, just like that. Just like that. Now I'm going to pop this sweater up on some dimensional foam. So I got my foam squares on the back, and I'm just going to sit this guy on here, wherever you want him. I kind of like him angled, something like this. Just stick that down. Now we need to put a hole at the top here. And I'm going to use my Crop-A-Dile. I'm going to use the big hole on the Crop-A-Dile and put a hole in. Now, one thing I want to tell you about your tags, make sure when you put your hole into your tag, you move it down kind of far because you don't want to take a chance of ripping the ribbons out. You want to give it some room. So I always come down to probably, that's almost 1/2 inch down. I'm going to need a sentiment. So from that same ugly sweater stamp set, I'm using the one that says Sweater Weather. And I'm just going to use the other piece of this candy stripe. It came from my scrap anyway, so I just flipped it over. I'm going to stamp that there. And then I'm going to cut that out. And I'm going to put it down here on the bottom. And that'll really pop. That's super cute. Now it's time for ribbons. I chose this ribbon this time because I just think it's ugly. I think it'll be cute. It's kind of this plaid. It's not really ugly. It's just it goes with the nothing matches on my ugly sweater tag. So I'm going to feed this through. I just cut a point in it so that it can act like a needle. And I'm going to feed that ribbon through there just like so. And just let that come up to the top. And I'll trim that in a few minutes, not right this second. And then I'm going to take some baker's twine. This is a black and white baker's twine. I'm going to run it underneath and tie this at the top. And I'm not tying a bow, I'm just tying a knot. Now see how long I left these baker's twine strings? I do that so that whatever gift I put this on, I'll have plenty of string to tie it with. Now I'm going to trim these guys down. So basically that's the tag. It's pretty simple. Just a little ribbon at the top. I got the little tie to tie it on. And there's our sweater weather tag. Now you could add a bow if you'd like. I added a big bow to the top of that one. You could bling it up or do anything you want. But that's the first tag. And we'll move on to the second one. My second tag is made using this banner die. Now you certainly don't have to have a banner die. You could certainly make this just by cutting it and then just doing this little notch yourself. I just thought I'd use it because I had it and it's got stitching line on it, which I think is super cute. So I'll show you how I did this one. I chose the largest tag die and then the one underneath it to make the tag with. It reminds me of a bookmark. I keep wanting to say bookmark. Okay, so then I use my Cuttlebug. I'll bring that guy out. And my cutting plates. So this is an A and a B. Put my C over here for a second. And again, I'm just using my scraps. I went straight to my scrap drawer and I'm going to cut this polka dot out in this big, the big banner piece. So just lay that down. You can certainly tape this in place if you feel you need to. And put that C plate on top. And I'm just going to run it through and cut that out. Now I have another scrap here. And I'm going to lay this banner piece on top of that, the die cut. And then run it through as well. Now I've got my banner pieces cut here, and for the sentiment, I'm just going to use a piece of cream colored paper. It's got a little pattern on it, and I'm going to use Joy from my Define Emotion stamp set. I have found so many uses for that stamp set. If you guys are interested in any of the stamp sets I'm using today, there'll be a link below where you can purchase those. They're from my line of stamps that I design. And this one says Joy, and I'm just going to stamp it right there. So cute. I love it. Okay, and then we can pretty much start assembling. So one thing I did a little different on this tag is I did not glue this whole piece down. I only glued the top section. I wanted it to have a little movement at the bottom, so I just put a little glue at the top, and then I just sat this here at the top and centered it. And isn't that cute how that does? And it's only adhered at the top, so you have this movement at the bottom. Okay, so I did that, and now then I want to take my sentiment and I'm going to pop it up on a little bit of foam adhesive, and I just kind of set it off to one side of that first piece, like not adhering them together. It just sits kind of on the top. Now we need to poke a hole in it. Again, using that larger hole and giving myself plenty of room. Coming down, you know, half an inch or so. And now ribbon. I like this little ribbon. This is from American Crafts. I think I picked this up at like Target. Not 100% sure, but I really like it. And I'm going to feed this through. Again, I always have too much, so let me pull that down a little bit. Trim that away. More baker's twine. This baker's twine I picked up at Walmart. I think this is the prettiest color. It's kind of a craft colored baker's twine. It's made in the Wedding Collection, Gartner Studios, and it doesn't say the color of it. I just think it looks like craft. I think it's so pretty. So I'm going to cut off a length of that and then put it underneath that. That was probably a big movement. Put it underneath those ribbons and then knot them together. And then on this one I did tie a bow with the baker's twine. And then when it comes time to attach it to a gift, you can always untie that bow and use that, or you can just tape it to a gift or what have you. And then this one has a little charm. I do not remember where I got these little gingerbread charms. I got them somewhere last year in a Christmas, after Christmas haul. I love to do that. So I took this little piece of baker's twine and I ran it through the front of both holes and brought it out the back. It's going to be hard for you to see with my fingers in the way. But basically I'm just threading this baker's twine through the middle so he didn't have this little open area. And then I just crossed these guys over, again hard for you to see, and added a glue dot. I'll bring this up so you can see it. I let the glue dot hold those strings in place. So I have them crossed over, the glue dot on top, and then I just cut off the excess to hide that twine behind him. And that glue dot is what is going to hold him into place. So I just put him right over the little joy sentiment. I think he's really cute. So there is that tag. Pretty simple, huh? Now for the last one, which is the reindeer. So for the reindeer tag, since I've already shown you cutting with the die cutting machine, I went ahead and cut this out. This is a scallop circle from the Spellbinders Nestability set, and I used the third one from the center, fourth one from the top is the one I used. Just use whichever one suits your stash. And then I'm doing this one in a different color, as you can see. I have this craft piece of paper, and I'm going to use a 2-inch circle punch and punch his face out of this. So now that will sit on top. And I'm really making this one in reindeer colors. I wanted to try it and see what it looked like. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I have this punch from, who's this by? Marvy? No, McGill. This is a McGill punch, and it makes a snowman. But last year I discovered that it also makes a reindeer. So I'm going to punch this out one time. And from a single cut, we're going to use this round piece, and we're going to use this arm, and then we're going to use these two little dots for eyes. Those are buttons for the snowman, but we're going to use them for eyes. And I don't need the rest, but I do need one more little arm to make his antlers out of. So I'm just going to take another piece of paper and just put it in where I'm catching that little antler or arm, whichever one you want to call it. So now I have all the pieces that I need. Now I'm going to show you what I did to make these the colors I wanted. Instead of trying to stick a whole bunch of different pages in that punch, I just used what I had. I took a red Copic marker first, and I colored this little nose on my scrap pad, so if I rolled off it didn't matter. Just colored it first in red. Then I took my red Wink of Stella and glittered it. I'm going to use this craft pick to hold it in place, because I wanted him to have a shiny nose. Just do that. So our nose is ready. Next I went to my markers, and this is a Bic Market marker in the color Woodsy Brown, and I colored his antlers. Now there's a trick with the antlers, and I'll show you. You color one facing in one direction, you color the other facing in the other direction. So if you were going to make a bunch of these, I'd just color both sides, and then you could just flip them over. But see, if I colored this one going in the same direction, they won't work on his head, so I flip one over and make sure it's facing the other direction. And then these little eyes, which you probably can't see, I did them in brown also and just colored them. Just making sure I got the whole piece covered. It was almost easier just to kind of roll my marker on it. Now we can assemble this guy. The first thing I did was put this face piece on dimensional tape so that it would be lifted off just a little bit. So put that there. And then he goes in the center of the back piece. And then I just started to glue my pieces on. This little nose goes towards the bottom of the circle. This one's going to be cute in reindeer color. I thought this might be a good idea. I wasn't sure. Now for the eyes, here's what I did. I took my art glitter glue and I made two little dots kind of close together over his nose. And then I have this little pick-me-up tool, and I just used it to give me some help. One thing I've learned about the pick-me-up tool, if you'll kind of twist it off of the thing you put down, sometimes it comes off easier. Of course, now that I'm trying to show you that it doesn't, so I just use my craft pick and hold that in place. And then kind of line these guys up because I feel like they moved. And then I put a little bit of glue here and a little here, and I just put these guys on. Again, you can use your pick-me-up tool and your craft tool, so that way you get them on there real easy. Then just move them into place. So there is that, and now we punch a hole. And I punched my hole at the end because I wanted him to be all put together before I did it. And then I just come up here to the top, and I get through his face and the back piece and poke the hole. Don't worry, it's not going to show because you're going to fill it with baker's twine anyway. And I used baker's twine last time, but because I'm going for this kind of single color look, I'm going to use some of this actual twine. Anytime your twine is kinked like this from the piece that it comes off of, like whatever's holding it, you can slide your bone folder down it and watch how it pulls that out. And I'm really not pulling very hard, but it really removes that kink, and I really like that. Just by putting the ends together. And then I'm going to do it one more time, so this is quadrupled. So then I'm going to stick the one of the looped ends through our hole at the top of our little reindeer. Just like that. Open that loop in the back and then bring these two loose ends through like so. And then I'm going to make sure that these pieces are all not looped anymore. Now I'm going to leave this longer. I did not leave these long enough, and in hindsight I should have, because if I want to hang this onto another project, I'll definitely need to have something to hang it with, so I'm leaving that longer. I really like the colored reindeer. He's cute, isn't he? They're both cute. So that's the 3 tags. There's only one other thing I did. Let me show you that. So from my stamp set called Action, there are lots of words on that stamp set. You can find it in the link below that I'm going to leave. And I took the words to and from and put them on a block, and then I stamped them on the back of the cards. And I want to show you this because I did this in hindsight. I forgot to do it before. If I were you, I would certainly stamp these before you put them down, but I forgot to. So I wanted to show you that all is not lost. Just put it on there and press pretty good, and you can get it done if you forget. So that's how that tag looks. And let me go ahead and do the to and from on all the other ones. So there you go. That's the tags we made today. And I think they're super fun. Now, I will tell you, all of these were Pinterest inspired. I just went onto Pinterest and I was like, I saw this little reindeer. I thought that's super cute. And I saw this style of tag, and I wanted to use my ugly sweater set. And this one, I just knew I had those, that banner die I wanted to try to use. But again, you could certainly do this by hand. You can snip this part by hand. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing 3 tags made today. If you're not a part of our Christmas tag swap, be sure to check out the link below for that. You can sign up. It's free to participate. You do have to pay for your own supplies as far as your tags and also your file folder and things like that, but you are welcome to participate. And if you don't participate and you just make some tags and you'd like to share them with us, we'd love to see them over on our Facebook group called Maymay Made It and So Did I. Be sure to head over there and join that group. I will talk to you guys again soon, tomorrow, for our Scripture Art Journaling Day. Thanks so much for joining me. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.